The Bible isn't just a book, it's a whole library. Think of it like the ultimate collection of genres: law, history, wisdom, prophecy, and even some wild apocalyptic visions that make modern sci-fi look tame. But here's the real question. Are we actually reading it the way it was meant to be read? What if understanding its genres could completely change how we see faith, truth, and even life itself? Tonight, we're diving into a game-changing perspective, one that will make the Bible come alive in ways you never imagined. So let's get into it. The Bible is basically the original multiverse of literature, spanning centuries, cultures, and writing styles. And if you've ever tried reading a legal contract the same way you read a poem, you know that context is everything. This library, is packed with different genres, each designed for a different purpose. First up, we've got law, which isn't just a list of rules but the foundation of Israel's identity, laying out everything from moral principles like the Ten Commandments to civil and ceremonial regulations. Then comes history, which isn't just about what happened, but about how God's relationship with humanity played out, complete with heroes, villains, epic rises, and catastrophic downfalls. It's like a divine drama with a very patient main character, spoiler God. Unlike modern history books, biblical history doesn't just report events. It interprets them through a theological lens, showing how God's hand was at work behind it all. King David, for example, is both a hero and a cautionary tale, proof that even the best of us can mess up spectacularly, yet still find redemption. Now, if history gives us the facts, wisdom literature gives us the life lessons. Proverbs is full of practical advice. Ecclesiastes reminds us that life is fleeting. Cheery thought, right? And Job wrestles with suffering in a way that still hits home today. These books speak to the deepest human experiences, trying to be wise, questioning the meaning of life, and wondering why bad things happen to good people. It's the Bible's way of saying, yep, we know life can be frustrating. Here's some wisdom. Use it wisely. Then there's prophecy, which, contrary to popular belief, isn't just about predicting the future. The prophets were basically God's truth-tellers calling people out for corruption, injustice, and idolatry. And while they did foretell events, many fulfilled in Jesus, their main gig was reminding people to get their act together. Prophets weren't exactly the most popular guys around. Turns out telling people they're messing up isn't the fastest way to make friends. But their messages weren't just warnings, they also carried hope, pointing toward God's plan to restore what was broken. Speaking of restoration, enter the Gospels. 4 different perspectives on Jesus' life, teachings, death, and resurrection, each with its own emphasis. These aren't just biographies, they're theological narratives showing Jesus as the fulfillment of prophecy. Matthew focuses on Jesus as the Jewish Messiah, Mark gives us a fast-paced, action-packed version, Luke highlights his compassion, and John goes deep on his divine nature. Together, they paint a full picture of who Jesus is and why he matters. Then come the epistles, a collection of letters that give practical, sometimes blunt guidance for Christian living. Paul, Peter, John, and others wrote these to early churches, tackling issues from salvation to unity to why you should stop fighting over minor stuff. Unlike narratives or prophecies, these letters get straight to the point. Think of them as personal messages to believers, packed with wisdom that's still relevant today. But to really understand them, you have to know their context. They were written to real people dealing with real issues, which means some things are timeless, like love, faith, and perseverance, and some were specific to their time, like whether or not to eat food sacrificed to idols, probably not a big debate for most of us today. And finally, we have apocalyptic literature, the dramatic, symbolic, often misunderstood genre that reminds us that no matter how chaotic the world seems, God's ultimate victory is certain. Books like Daniel and Revelation use intense imagery, beasts, dragons, cosmic battles, to encourage believers facing persecution, showing that evil may have its moments, but it won't have the last word. The key to reading this genre? Don't take everything literally, but don't ignore its message either. It's not a secret code for predicting the end of the world. It's a powerful vision of God's justice and final restoration. So why does all this matter? Because reading each genre correctly changes how we understand the Bible. We don't read poetry like a news report, and we shouldn't read prophecy like a textbook. Each genre contributes to the bigger story of God's plan, from the laws that shape a nation to the history that reveals his faithfulness, the wisdom that guides us, the prophecy that warns us, the gospels that reveal Jesus, the letters that teach us, and the apocalyptic visions that remind us that, in the end, God wins. Now, here's something to chew on. Which biblical genre do you think is the most challenging to understand, and why? Let's discuss in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.